Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make some mud. We're gonna mix up some mud.
And there's some tricks to mixing the mud as well, right, Tom?
What's that?
There's some tricks to mixing up your mud.
Yeah, well, you definitely want some wet mud when you're taping. First coat, I think we showed you this in the video before. The wetter, the better. If you get used to working with wet mud.
And again, we're using the purple lid, which is the mid-weight.
Yep, to get these lids off, a lot of people slit these things here, but that's the wrong way. You're supposed to cut the tab and pull this bottom lid off the whole way. All right, now you know how to open a bucket.
And there's our mud, our 4.5 gallons worth of mid-weight. Now, right now, this stuff is just way too thick. I mean, it's way too thick. After Tom mixes it, it won't be sticking on my finger like that anymore. All right, that's how it comes out of the bucket when you pop the lid off. That's not the consistency that you want to be putting it on with. Now today we're going to be taping all of our joints, and we're going to be coating our metal, and we don't want that real thick mud, all right? And actually, you never want your mud to be that thick, no matter what phase of the drywall finishing.
Yeah, you always wet your mud, absolutely.
Yeah, your mud's always wet.
Yep.
So we're going to take clean water. You don't want to use dirty water. We've got a 5-gallon bucket of water on standby for 2 reasons. One, to add water to our mud, which is just putting it in his mud pan.
I don't know if you can see how much I'm putting in there, but it's a good tall water glass full, if not more. And then I'll take a look at it and I can just whip the top half of it.
Now, the tool we're going to be using for this is going to be a high-speed drill, and that's a heavy-duty drill, by the way. To turn this paddle in a 5-gallon bucket of this paste, you need something powerful. That's also the squirrel cage mixing paddle he's using.
Could get messy, so just take your time till you get to.
Yep, take your time. You definitely want a variable speed drill to do this so that you can speed it up and slow it down. You can see how creamy that is. Now look at it on his paddle there. You can see it's a real whipped up, creamy, almost like a whipped cream consistency, like a Cool Whip. Now when I put some on my finger, you can see that it's almost running off my finger, all right? It's a much creamier, smoother consistency, and that's what you want.
Yep, you want your mud to be wet on this coat because it helps pull your tape. It helps pull the mud into the tape. It actually, when you put wet mud on the joint, dry tape, and then wet mud on top of dry tape, you're actually wetting the tape, and it'll all fuse itself together. That's what we're looking to do here. So the wetter the better on this coat. Plus, it's easier to pull off. I'll show you about what I mean about pulling off. Had I used stiff mud, you'll get lumps in here.
All right, so he's using a 6-inch knife to start this, and Tom, we should tell him you're in the tapered joint right now between the board.
Yep, this is where the 2 factories come together.
All right.
You only need 3 inches of mud.
Yeah, he's got this is about a 3-inch wide sliver of mud here that he's putting on.
Yeah, you can put it on, no matter how you put it on.
But you want to put it down the center of the board.
Yep, right where that joint is.
Right down the joint. You want it to be
about right here
about 3 inches wide. Now once he gets it spread on there, he's going to get that paper tape we talked about earlier in the video. And you know, we got a 250-foot roll, but you might not need that much.
A 500-foot roll.
So a 500-foot roll?
Yeah.
All right, we got a 500-foot roll of it.
Yeah.
All right, so the tape's about 2 inches, and he put about 3 inches of mud on there, so
yeah.
you cut a piece off, a manageable piece.
Yeah, find the center of your joint, which should be right where the other center is. And I'm gonna hold that right in the center.
Press it in with your
I'm
knife.
just gonna, just kind of set it in there.
All right, so it's still dry on this side. He's just pressing it into the mud.
Yeah.
And he's working in sections here. He didn't try to go the whole 20-foot wall. He's got about half of it, maybe about 9-foot piece of tape there. And now what he's going to do is kind of like the trick to it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back and wet the whole outside. I'm pressing wet mud into my wet mud below it, and I'm pouring it off all at the same time.
All right, so he's wetting the tape. Now, if you do not wet your tape, I promise you, you're going to have bubbles forming behind your tape, and it's going to be a nightmare for you. So what he just did there was he wet his joint 3 inches wide. He pressed dry paper tape into the joint compound. Then he went back across and wet that tape completely, covered it with compound. Then he pulled off every last bit of the mud.
Yep. Like I said, I'm just applying, slight pressure, but that's done.
And when you go back across this and pull and with your wet mud across this, you're basically pushing the mud out underneath of it.
Yep.
And
I'm not trying to fill this. Yep.
Yeah, you want it to be solid filled, but you don't want to put too much on.
Yeah, I'm just saying, our finished product, it'll look like it'll start covering the tape. But you're not trying to do that on this coat.
Not trying.
All we're doing is taping, getting our joint set. This mud pan here I got is a nice, you're gonna need a mud pan, 6-inch, 4-inch, 5-inch knives, whatever. You'll have an assortment of knives. This mud pan holds your mud, and it also, when I do these corners, the trick to putting this mud on is I'm not going like this, filling my knife and squishing it out. I'm missing the corner, I got too much overspread here. Alright, what I'm trying to do, the trick to using this mud knife is scoop it off in just the corners here. I'll clean my knife off good. Scoop it off and just use half your knife with the mud on it.
You see, he's just got it on the inside edge of the knife.
Yep, that's the trick to using this.
That's where you want the mud. You want it to be in the corner, not on the outside edge.
Yep, and you can, like I say, you can move your mud around in this pan really nice and easy, scooping it however, but I'm just getting it on that one half of the corner. However I'm doing, I'm filling this little corner joint up. Here we go, come up to the bottom. Got the garbage down here. I don't need any of this mud way out here.
Yeah, because your tape's only 2 inches wide.
Yeah, exactly. To do this side, I'm just reversing it.
Putting the mud on the left inside corner.
Yeah, or you can put it on
side to side.
Yeah, side to side. But you just want, basically, you just want mud. We're not spreading it, we're just having a nice mud base.
Let me show what you got there, Wes. Now he's got enough mud on here right now to put his tape in this corner. He's got about 2 inches of mud here, and maybe about 3 inches of mud over here. It doesn't matter, you need at least 2 inches though. And he doesn't have 6 inches of mud coming all the way out to here. This is a very thin 2-inch sliver, maybe 2.5 inches of mud. That's what you're looking for in the corners before you put your tape on.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, you don't even need 2 inches. 1.5 inches out each side is plenty. So all this out here is leftover. I can get it off right now, I can get it off after I tape. Because you're gonna take your same flat tape. I'm gonna show you 2 tricks on this now. Take your same flat tape, roll it out to length. It can be a little strong. Alright, so I got my tape ripped to length. Trick number 2, when you go into a corner, it's pre-creased, so you're gonna fold your tape. Just fold it about 3 foot down for starters.